I used to be so shy in school that when I needed to use the washroom during class, I would just hold it until the end of the day because I was too scared to ask a teacher to use the washroom. And if I just couldn't fucking hold it anymore and I had to ask to use the washroom, I was unable to make eye contact. I was one of the shyest people you've ever met. I would literally ask to use the washroom or ask a question in class like this. I would raise my hand at my desk and I would look at the floor because I couldn't make eye contact with people because I was born so naturally, brutally shy. For the simplest of things, when I had to ask the teacher to use the washroom, when I had to ask a classmate beside me for a pencil that I'd never spoke to before, just the most commonplace of things, I got the most crippling social anxiety and shyness and anxiety from. I'm smiling because I'm proud of how far I've come. Now at 19 years old, I enjoy public speaking when I get the opportunity. I enjoy making new friends. In the past year, I've gone up to 20 random girls that I've seen in my city or, at school and asked for a phone number, asked for a date, which is, outlandish for where I came from not being able to ask the teacher to use the washroom to, being able to ask out a girl I thought was cute that I'd never spoken to before. That's a quantum leap in progress. So that's why I'm smiling. I've made a lot of progress, and I hope in this video I can share some wisdom of how you can do the same, or at least make some progress, because I know how fucking terrible it is to be shy. It feels like a disability, almost. It feels like you're not quite normal sometimes. So if I can help you overcome some of that today, nothing would make me happier. But I guess I'll quickly introduce myself. My name's Dylan. I make self-improvement content for mostly young men. If women watch too, that's cool, but I'm a young man. I know how we think, so I make it mostly for young men. If you like that kind of thing, subscribe. Get me to 500 subs before the end of February. But yeah, enough plugging. So I've gone from, not being able to use the washroom in school all day because I was too scared to ask the teacher, to literally enjoying public speaking. How did I go about it? I knew that at some point it would catch up to me if I never went outside my bubble and, put myself out there. I knew that one day I was gonna see that girl that makes my heart stop, or I'm gonna have that interview for a company that's gonna pay me $1 million, or close that business contract, and I'm gonna need the skill of speaking to people. So I knew it was no way to live my life being shy. So that was the motivation behind, me changing myself. The first thing that I'll make very clear, and bro, these people who make videos about how not to be shy and stuff like that, it's like, they give you basic tips like, make eye contact and just relax. It's like, that's great, but I can tell you've never been a shy person if you make that kind of video. I'll tell you in depth the inner working mechanisms of a dysfunctioning shy person. I'll tell you exactly how it is. I'm gonna give you advice no one's fucking talked about. First thing, don't confuse your goal of being confident, right? Because that's your goal. To not be shy is to have the confidence to speak to someone, etc. Don't confuse being confident with being loud. This was a big mistake I made. I started putting myself into social situations that I didn't want to be in, like, parties or gatherings or public speaking events, whatever. I forced myself to do them because I knew, like I said, I knew I had to do it because at some point I would need the skill in life of talking to people. But I made the mistake of thinking I needed to be loud and, the center of attention to achieve my goal of being confident, right? I thought I needed to be Mr. Andrew Tate and all flashy and loud and bold and brash, but that's not the case at all. I remember a party I went to with me and my friend. at this party, I tried to be as loud and, out there as possible, which is completely polar opposite to my natural inclination. I was loud, I was making jokes, I was laughing, but inside I just felt like this isn't me. Like I of course was trying to, improve my ability to put myself out there and enjoy these social situations, but being comfortable in social situations and needing to be the center of attention or thinking you need to be are two very, very different things. And the reason I felt so uncomfortable at this party, despite being outwardly open and, extroverted by anyone's measure, inside, I just felt even worse than when I came, because I was like, dude, this isn't you. You're not being Dylan right now. You're being someone else. And I didn't want to be someone else. I wanted to be me, but just more confident. And so while I was at this party and, being someone I wasn't, I made myself almost hate the act of trying to get better, because inside I was like, Dylan, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't us. What are we doing here? I hate being extroverted. I don't want to do this. Let's go home. Man, I don't need these people. I don't want to associate with them. I don't even like them anyway. What are we doing here? Why are you trying to improve? You don't need to be extroverted. What are you doing? Those were the thoughts that came to my head when, I tried to put myself in those situations where I was trying to be unauthentic and become someone I wasn't. But when I actually, tried to put myself out there in a way that was authentic to myself, like maybe going up to a girl and, asking for her number, still being me, not acting like I'm someone else, not trying to be loud or brash or anything, I found almost happiness in it. I felt great afterwards. Even if she said no, I felt great that I did it, right? Because I did a rep, like in the gym. You do reps, you grow your muscles. I did one rep of of being extroverted, and my extroversion level, like a stat in a video game, went up a point, right? But I did it in a way that made sense to me. I will never be the person who's screaming at the party, who's laughing the loudest, who's, the center of attention, and, nothing against those people, but that's never going to be me. And I don't want it to be me. I don't want it to be me. I just want the ability to flick the switch, if need be, to be extroverted. If I'm having if I'm negotiating a business contract, if I'm, standing up for myself, if I'm doing this or that, I just want to be able to flip the switch, if need be, to be extroverted, to be confident, whatever, and not be shy. Public speak if I need to. But that doesn't mean you have to be the center of attention at the party or, whatever have you. So don't get that confused. That's number one mental model I've learned for overcoming shyness. Hopefully you can tell this has come from the mental lab. This isn't advice you've heard on Wikipedia, right? I hope you can appreciate that this is unique advice. That's what I'm trying to deliver anyway. Second thing, 5-second rule. If you don't speak to someone within 5 seconds, if you don't agree to a public speaking gig within 5 seconds, if you don't ask the question within 5 seconds, you're probably not going to do it, because you're going to start overthinking. So I've programmed my brain so that as soon as I have a question or I feel something like I'm about to get anxiety for being shy, I programmed my legs to start moving towards the thing that's giving me anxiety so that I can end that feeling as quick as possible. So for example, I'll go back again to asking girls out, because it's just it's a common anxiety for young men, right? So I went out with my friend one day with the pure intention of asking out a bunch of women, because we both wanted to level up our, let's just say we wanted to grow a thick skin, be okay with rejection, whatever the case was. I don't remember why we did it. I found that if I looked at a girl that I thought was cute and I wanted to go up to her, if I didn't do it within 5 seconds, it didn't happen at all. So I programmed myself to we were at the mall, right? There's a sea of people. If I saw a cute girl, like I locked Target or whatever, within 5 seconds, my legs were moving. I was like, well, I can't just like, start moving and then maybe make eye contact with her and then just like swerve off in a different direction. And like, I can't style that one off, right? So if I start, I have to follow through. So, yeah, before you start overthinking anything, try to act as quickly as possible. That's my second tip. Third tip to overcome shyness. People search up videos how to be more confident, right? How to be extroverted, how to, put yourself out there. But it's almost like Googling how to be rich without earning money. Because confidence is earned. Confidence is evidence. The better question is, what do you have to be confident in, right? So there's no secret trick or hack that's missing from making you click to becoming a confident person. It's being a person that's worthy of being confident. So if you're a loser who plays video games all day and jerks off 5 times a day and, has nothing going for him, why should you be confident? Go do something that gives you some confidence. Go hit the gym. Go get a good paying job. Clean yourself up. Take a shower. You probably stink, right? And then when you're a more presentable person, maybe you'll have some confidence. If you've done things you're proud of, you'll probably walk with a little more pep in your step. So be a person worthy of being confident in the first place. That'll help you overcome your shyness. It certainly did for me. And that ties into my next point. Tip number 4, learn to fight. I told you this would be no BS. This is a no BS video. But I went to a fight gym for a year, got the shit kicked out of me in Muay Thai, right? Kickboxing. But every day, having the shit kicked out of me, I walked out with my head held high. And it's like, I don't know if it's just a guy thing, but, we just feel good knowing we can fight. Because if you're shy talking to someone, it's because in some way, shape, or form, you're intimidated by what they could do to you. And if you're able to fight, you're like, okay, they can't do anything physically to me, or at least I'll have a better chance of, fending myself off from any attacks, right? Like, this is how shy people think, bro. At least that's how I do. That's how shy men think. So learn to fight. I'll move on quickly from this step because you're probably not going to take action on this one. If you wanted to learn how to box or get in shape, you would have done it already. Tip number 6, start small and stupid. So I gave the example of, having the anxiety of asking a girl out or, asking a question in class, maybe in a full university auditorium. You're nervous to ask a question. Don't start with a level 100 boss, right? Like in a video game, you don't start by fighting Bowser in Mario, right? You start by fighting the little turtle guy. When you jump on him, he turns into a shell, right? And it's like super easy to beat him. But Bowser spits fire. So start with the turtle, man. Start with the turtle. Instead of starting with your biggest fear of like asking a girl out or whatever your big fear might be, public speaking. You could start with that. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But set yourself up for success and start small. All the time, I used to do this, and I still do this. I ask people stupid questions. Particularly when I was scared of talking to women. I would go to the gym and like, if I saw a girl there, I would go up to her and be like, hey, what time does this place close, right? Knowing full well, the gym is called Anytime Fitness and it's open 24 hours, right? But I would just go up to people like that all the time. Not only women, just like anyone I was intimidated by or I felt shy speaking to, I would just go ask them as many questions or, have any excuse to speak to them as much as I could. And, once you've had a few of those, maybe in the same day, you introduce yourself to someone new, you make some new friends. So that's a good way to start to get the ball rolling. It's a snowball effect. Start small and it's just a quick win. You'll be proud of yourself. You will ride that wave of satisfaction, and you might find yourself doing something bigger that day. Number 7, start with a friend. Find another shy friend and group up together and hold yourselves accountable and say, hey, we're both gonna ask one question in class today. It can be like, that sounds, it might sound silly, but it's like, this is what you need to do to get yourself out of your comfort zone. There's no magic sentence I can speak that's gonna flip a switch in your head that's gonna make you confident. Unfortunately, there isn't. Believe me, I've searched for it. You need to get reps in, and there is strength in numbers. So again, I'll go back to the example of the ladies. Me and my friend went to the mall, asked out a bunch of women for whatever purpose, because our testosterone fueled brains told us to do it. When we were doing that, the reason why it was fun, it was a fun time, was because I was with my friend and he was going through this struggle with me. If I was alone, it probably would have been a little less fun, right? So find someone who's going through the same shit and partner up, become the Avengers, and crush your introversion together. Tip number 8, remember you're gonna die. Everything's permanent. You are temporarily immortal. Everything you've been through hasn't killed you yet. And you taking that public speaking gig or you going to that job interview, you'll be fine. You won't die, I promise. And if you do die, then you'll be put out of your suffering, right? So, yeah, quick one. Number 9, understand your beliefs. This is one I got from Alex Hormozy. Let's say there's 2 4-year-olds. One 4-year-old says to the other, you're fat. And the 4-year-old is like, interesting, I'm fat. What does that mean? Right? And he takes a very logical approach to it. But then his mother comes around and his mother says, oh, this kid called you fat? Oh, honey, you should be so upset. Oh, I'm so sorry. And now the kid attaches meaning to what was said. Now the kid is like, I should be upset when someone says I'm fat? Okay, I'm going to be upset next time someone calls me fat. Right? And then the other 4-year-old calls him fat again, and now he's crying. Right? But the first time, he didn't attach meaning to what the other person said. Right? The only reason the fat 4-year-old got offended or, whatever, when the other 4-year-old called him fat was because he was told he should be offended when someone calls him fat. To tie this back to being shy, the only reason you're shy around people is because they're going to reject you in some form or another. Is because you're afraid they're going to reject you in some form or another, right? But if you understand why that matters to you, why does being rejected matter in the first place? If you try and understand the association between the pain you feel and what's actually happening, you might just find that at one point in time, you might be too young to have remembered it, but if someone said something similar to you, it didn't matter, right? There was a time when everything was much simpler. It's getting dark, boys. I'm going to move on to the last point. Keep an evidence folder. I have in my phone a note of everything I've done that I'm proud of, and I read it when I need a boost, and then it makes me feel good, and I feel confident. And, if you have nothing to be confident of yet, which I'm sure you do, but let's say you don't, start small, like I said, in tip number 5 or whatever it was. Start small, go talk to one new person today. It could just be a simple hello, right? That's something I did when I was uber fucking shy and a ball of anxiety. The first step I did was when I went for a walk in the day or whatever, and I saw a stranger, I just forced myself to say hi. Even if they were like running by and it was super awkward, I'd just be like, hello. And then they'd look back like, what the fuck? But I just forced myself to say one word, right? One word. So start small, keep a list of all the things you do that you're proud of. Maybe saying hi to a new person is something you can be proud of. Put that on the list. When you do it again, put it on the list. And then one day you're going to have a list full of shit and you're going to be like, fuck, look at how far I came. And it's going to be amazing. And I can't wait for that to happen. So yeah, guys, it's dark. I know how shitty being shy feels, having social anxiety. Trust me. Hopefully you can tell from this video. I'm still working on it, man. But being that way is no way to live life. You have to shoot your shot. You don't want to live with regret. You're going to miss out on so much of life if you're not able to make new friends and speak to people. So develop this skill now. You won't regret it. Yeah, I'm Dylan. I make content about self-improvement, mostly for young men. If you're a chick, you can watch it. I don't care. Yeah, I tried to inspire and educate young men, inspire them to get their fitness right, get their money right, get their brain set right, get their mindset right, be grateful, happier humans. So if any of that sounds appealing, you can subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm telling you to subscribe. I'm not saying it would be nice if you do. I'm telling you to subscribe and like, please. But yeah, you can check out more videos if you want to see more of that. But I have a gym session to go hit because there is no more light outside, so I'm done recording videos for the day. My deep work block is done. So have a great day.